Next up, we got the boss monkey. There he is, my little guy. There he is, my little guy. Isn't he cute? Um, this is the one that we were getting really hyped for. This was our fan vote figure, and he
They
looks.
went all out.
Yeah, he's spectacular. It's funny
I'm
because
surprised.
from within the fandom, I was getting mixed responses. Some people were complaining it's just the old toy,
Yeah.
which I was like, I'm sorry. Let me tell you something. I've bought and sold that toy. I can't even count how many times. Like Optimal Optimuses, I've probably within my hands, I've probably handled 12 different Optimal Optimuses and having to transform them multiple times to take photos for buy sell trade forums or bringing them to conventions and stuff like that. I'll tell you this right now, this is not like the old toy. Number one,
Not
it
at
doesn't have
all.
chrome, so that's a blessing right there. You know, number two, I mean, it's way more articulated. I could see what they're talking about. There's certain similar cues, but keep in mind, the original Optimal Optimus toy was a pretty darn good representation of the original animation of the character to begin with. So, and that was the highest price point ever that Beast Wars had. So I mean, they only had to reinvent the wheel so much. It's kind of like looking like at Masterpiece Grimlock and going, it's just like the original toy. Or Masterpiece Shockwave is probably a better example. But I mean, this thing is great. I mean, if I had to give one criticism, is just maybe they should have colored the chest of the robot mode for Optimal Optimus more. But I think that's more attributed to the fact because it takes Primal's body to make that part, and
Can
that
you,
would require
should
more.
we?
That would require more orange on Primal. Then, you know what
I
I mean?
think we should kind of explain what's going on with this toy because I had no
Oh yeah,
idea
I had
this
to.
was going to be I would say a Power Master Optimus
Yeah, I
Prime
had
kind
to
of deal going on.
essentially what Jaws D's talking about is I kind of had to explain to him because when he was looking at this originally, he saw this as two separate individual figures.
Yeah.
And then I explained to him, no, no, see what's going on here is Optimus Primal, the actual like, the one that looks more like the season 1 version. He has his own individual transformation and he has his little surfboard and stuff there if you actually look carefully at some of the images online. But he actually transforms to kind of like Jaws D said, become kind of like a Power Master Optimus Prime or like Armada Optimus Prime. He becomes more of a chest head kind of thing to then make the larger character here become Optimal Optimus. And inside, I can't find the images online right now, but there's a really good shot from behind of the Season 1 Optimus Primal body, and you could see the Optimal Optimus head sticking out in the back.
Yeah.
And so it's fairly obvious like how this all works. So he kind of makes that whole chest assembly and stuff, and that's why like despite the fact that I would prefer more orange on that cockpit and everything because it would be more accurate to how it looked in Beast Wars, I could understand why it's kind of a difficulty because of the source that it's coming from, a primarily gray and a gray and black character, which is the season 1 Optimus Primal. What's cool is he comes with a matrix, and that matrix that he comes with kind of has like a blue hue in the center,
Hmm.
suggesting that spark of G1 Optimus Prime that he was holding during that period of time in optimal situation, season 3, episode 1, which
Hmm.
was really cool. The paint on it looks really great. I mean, I have nothing to complain about here. It looks awesome. It's kind of the only complaint I have really is they haven't shown all the modes. I think the
Yeah.
gorilla mode looks incredible. I think the gorilla mode looks way better than the original Beast Wars toy. That definitely has more articulation and looks more accurate. I wish that they showed more for some of the other alt modes thus far, but they wanted to show the stuff that really sticks out and counts. And I think he looks absolutely spectacular. I mean, I have nothing to complain about really when it partakes to Optimal Optimus. What do you think?
I'm surprised because I had no idea that was the way it was going to go. I thought it was just going to be, we're bringing over MP Optimus Primal, and that would have been the end of it. But obviously, that would have been a crazy price point to put on people, especially for this particular version series that we're going into. I think he looks really good. I'm surprised. You know, we keep saying to each other, you can't really reinvent the wheel with particular characters. Like what we get in with the quote unquote Kenner version of Optimus Primal
Hmm.
is what we're gonna get, and that's it. And we've kind of been seeing them refining it, refining it, refining it, refining it. And I'm surprised with this one where it's like you get him in like a is he a deluxe?
It,
Is he a
from
warrior
from
class? That's what he looks like.
it seems like the primal itself, the scale that people think it is, it's similar to what probably the hot rod Rodimus is, like what we have with the
Mm,
evolution stuff going on.
right.
Same thing with the Orion Pax Optimus Prime. So, which is that kind of, it is like, I guess would best say is like a slightly larger deluxe. But I would say a deluxe, just some deluxes are larger than others. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would say a deluxe. So it's similar to that, yeah.
And now he's jumping into, I guess, a leader class is the best way to put it, right?
Yeah, it's it's
Or a
it's it's going to be,
Voyager.
the assumption is it's going to be sold as a leader class, like the previous quote evolution figures,
Mm.
which is like the Optimus Prime and the Hot Rod, and later the Rodimus Unicronus.
So
So
I'm excited. I'm very happy. I'm like, wow, you did something completely different that I never thought you would have done engineering wise, and really putting a really nice spin on it, and then like getting rid of the chrome so this thing could last as long as it can last, at least on the Optimal Optimus. And Optimal Optimus looks really good. Like he's just standing there, very big, and he's got his like arms on his sides, and same with the gorilla mode.
yeah,
Oh,
he could hit
I'm
some amazing poses. Like that's the thing that bothers me. People are like, "Oh, it's just the original toy." I'm seeing poses done from Hasbro here that there's no way the original toy could have pulled off some of this stuff. Like there's no way. So and again, the original toy was a really good toy, but it didn't have that kind of articulation and maneuverability. I guess is the
yeah.
best way to say.
Like it's just definitely showing off that yeah, we've come this far. What Beast Wars is what 20 years
Oh yeah,
now? Yeah,
easily, easily
so the
96.
just the engineering alone coming along this far in 20 plus years.
Well,
I'm very very excited. I'm very happy for
especially
this.
considering the fact that that Optimal Optimus came out in 1998, so it would technically be its 20th anniversary on top of that.
Mm,
So it's a nice little, everything comes around full circle. In some ways,
yeah.
I almost feel like it wasn't a surprise that he won the voting. It's
My surprise is what they did with this molding, what they did with this. We're like, oh, okay, this is what they want. This is what the people want. How do we work this? Oh, I got an idea. Boom. Or like here we could do it this way, where we're doing the evolution, but instead of it going into a vehicle, we're gonna do it like this.
I
It
like
goes
also
into a
I like
beast.
some people feel it's a sore point, but if you actually look at the back of the Optimal Optimus, you could kind of see how Optimus Primal's folded up to make like a backpack there.
Yeah.
It looks weird to some people, but I think it's kind of cool. It shows
I mean,
how
I go on. Sorry.
no, it shows how they were able to engineer the deluxe figure. And if you look at the deluxe figure, it's a pretty good standalone figure, and yet it
Yeah.
still was able to fold up into something that's a perfectly square backpack over there, and not just look like hanging kibble, if you will,
Yeah.
like just hanging limbs and stuff. Like anyone who owned like the Beast Wars combiners of Tripredacus and Magnaboss, you kind of have a lot of extra pieces just hanging off of that figure,
Yeah.
where in this, it's like it's very solidly like a credit card, packed back there. So
And again, like you're not gonna take Optimal Optimus and pose him with his butt to everybody. I mean, that's not what he's known for.
yeah,
His guns are in the front. The Matrix is in the front. I mean, you're not posing him that way. You're really, really not.
no, this is absolutely great, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I say to people, if somehow they're really not satisfied with this version, there is that third party one, Gorira, and
Yeah.
Gorira is a great alternative. So because the thing is people were not happy because they're going, I don't like the paint on this one, the way that it looks, and now that it seems that Takara is not always going to be doing their versions of it now, because now it's
Hmm.
going to be more select. Um, we might not be able to get a perfect colored version of that. Well, if you
Right.
were willing to probably get the Takara one to begin with, meaning you were going to pay more money, because this is going to be leader class price point. So picture leader class price point from a Takara imported product. So if you
Yeah.
were willing to pay that upsale anyways, might as well get Gorira. Guerrera is definitely going to meet your needs. So, I mean, it might not be Guerrera might not be as big as this one probably will be, although, I haven't seen it like, in person to compare and scale. But the point is that everyone has an option to get their perfect primal in this sense. So, but this thing looks really fun, and to me, that's the most important thing. I wasn't looking for a masterpiece, show accurate 100% Optimus Primal. I was looking for the generation's always interesting take on those characters. And this is a very good, interesting take of easily my favorite Transformer series of all time. So I have no problem with that. And again, this Primal is fictionally, this is going to be used for the Power of the Prime Machinima series.
Exactly.
So in the end, we're going to learn more about this version of Primal when that comes for sure.
I'm just gonna say my hats off to the engineers. Amazing job on this. I am floored. I am literally floored.